Hari Om. We'll start with a prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Kurudeva Deva. Hari Om. After addressing what is Anatma, the Acharya now answering the question, what is Atma? And Atma cannot be defined. Atma means the self or I am. So the self that I am, which is same as Paramatma, as the discussion will show. And Atma cannot be defined because it is, number one, it is infinite. Infinite cannot be defined because anything that can be defined is only finite. And Atma is also subject, and subject cannot be objectified. Only objects can be defined. So the scripture has a problem in trying to explain what is Atma. So hence first discuss what is Anatma. So therefore by discarding what is not Atma, one has to arrive what is Atma. But also it indicates now in terms of terms for the mind to contemplate on. So it is a meditative statements where I had to, the scripture is showing a direction. It's called Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha means it is not a directly, this is what Atma, but it is an indicative definition. One has to use the mind to go along the direction pointed out by the scriptures to arrive at oneself what that really means. Hence, in the past 3 talks, we were discussing about the exact slokas, because in that way we can see what exactly, since they are meditative slokas, we are going by sloka. And in the last talk, we discussed about the sloka 128 that says, this Atma is Yaha Vijanati Sakalam Jagra Swapna Sushuptishu, that which knows or the knower of Vijanati Sakalam, everything that is there in the waking state, in the dream state, in the deep sleep state. In the waking state, the whole world of plurality, that includes all the objective sciences, all the sciences in fact, because everything is only belonging to in the waking state only. And that also includes the knower and the known, and all things that can be through the pramana that occurs in the waking state using the mind and intellect, all that can be is essentially Sakalam. Everything in the Jagrat is Vijanati. It knows because I am conscious of that. So when I say I know it, that means I am conscious of. That means consciousness that I am pervading the knowledge that what this is. That is Vijanati. So Jagrat, Swapna, also in the dream world, all things I know. Only things I know, I can dream. I cannot dream something that I do not know. So the knowledge of creation is with me, and I only project it in the dream. And therefore, that also I am conscious of, because the one as a dreamer subject, I am conscious of the whole world of the dream world. Therefore, Sakalam, Swapna and Sushuptishu, even in the deep sleep state, I know. So I don't know anything, that's what is our experience, but knowledge of the non-existence I know. That means I know the absence of the subject-object duality in the deep sleep state. Therefore, I am conscious of the absence of everything, and that itself is the Sakalam there. And also I am conscious of the happiness, because the absence of duality contributes to lack of suffering. Therefore, I am happy. So it is an indirect happiness because it is the absence of suffering. Therefore, I am happy in the deep sleep state. And therefore, Sakalam Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Vijanati. And also it says, Buddhi Tadvrutti Sadbhavam Abhavam Ahamichayam. Also it knows in the waking state, Buddhi Tadvrutti. I know the intellect, and also Tadvrutti, all the modifications of the intellect. Also, that means all the thought process that arise in my intelligence or in my intellect, I am conscious of. Without me conscious of, there cannot be any thought rising, because I know the thoughts. Who is that I? The consciousness that I am, Yaha, whoever is that subject is the one. So in every knowledge that is taking place, in every thought that is taking place, I know. So it's not the suppression of the thought. I had to see my own presence in every thought also. And also abhavam, even when there is no thought also I know. But even absence of the thought, just as the absence of subject-object relationship in the deep sleep state, absence of the thought even in the waking state by either a nirvikalpa samadhi or trying to suppress the thoughts, any of the process, I am conscious of the silence also. So silence is also an object of my knowledge. It's not that silence only I am there all the time in the silence, in the thoughts. Only I have to shift my attention from the silence to the consciousness who is aware of the silence also. So that is essentially abhavam. So that is aham yaha vijanati. That is aham. That what whoever knows is me. That is the atma. And then continuing this analysis, we go into the next sloka, which is sloka 129 of the Viveka Chudamani. Yah pasyati swayam sarvam, yah pasyati swayam sarvam, yam na pasyati kinchana, yam na pasyati kinchana, yaha chetayati buddhyadi, yaha chetayati buddhyadi, natatyam cetayatyayam, natatyam cetayatyayam. Says yaha pasyati swayam sarvam. So that which sees everything, sarvam pasyati. That means that which sees everything. That means whatever I know, I am conscious of. What I don't know, there is no way. That itself is ignorance. That I know what I don't know also. That means even the ignorance also I know. Do I know Gaga Babu? I don't know Gaga Babu. How do I know that I don't know Gaga Babu? That I know. That means I know what I don't know and I know what I know. So sarvam, everything I can see. Pasyati means that which is perceptual analysis that I can use through pramana, and that which I cannot see I can deduce by either deductive or inductive logic. All that I know. So yaha pasyati swayam sarvam. That me, I know everything, including the analysis of even with the fundamental particles by a scientist. Is there a conscious entity has to investigate, and he cannot investigate what is consciousness, and that's what is being stated here. Says yaha pasyati swayam sarvam, yam na pasyati kinchana. That which cannot be seen. That which sees everything, sees means perceives, sees, hears, touches, all those five senses. Through five senses, I can know at the same time, yam na pasyati kinchana. Nothing can be used to know it. There cannot be any instrument. So even a scientist trying to investigate what is consciousness. But the very investigative process makes it unconscious. All they can do is to say what are the neurons and how the neurons come and all that, but it's not consciousness. That's also an object for analysis. Anything that is objectified is not conscious, it is unconscious or inert entity. Therefore, it's yam na pasyati kinchana, that which cannot be seen but which sees everything. And yaha chetayati buddhyadi, that because of which the buddhi adi, the mind, the intellect, everything else, chetayati, has become as though conscious entity. That itself is essentially illumining the buddhi, and through the buddhi illumining everything. Illumining means being conscious of. It is the light of consciousness that is getting reflected and the buddhi, and that becomes a chidabhasa, that is reflected consciousness, and that reflected light falls on the thought and that reveals the thought. So that's how I know it becomes a buddhi, or as though becoming illuminating or chetayati. Natat yam chetayachati, but that there is nothing that can illumine the consciousness itself. The intellect can be known because of it is being illumined. I know the intellect because I know what I know what I don't know. So all the information is nothing but the product of the intellect, but there is nothing I can have. Natat yam chetayachati. I cannot illumine the consciousness because I need not illumine the consciousness. That's why I gave an example. When I am in a pitch dark room, it says, "Are you there?" Say, I can say, "I am there." Yes. "Are you conscious?" "Yes, I am conscious." So what do you see? I don't say anything. So how do you know you don't say anything? Because everything is too dark. So can you see darkness? Yes. I can see that I cannot see. So therefore that knowledge is there, but I can see. But how do you know that I am there? Says, I know I am there. I don't need any means of knowledge. In fact, I don't need it. But even if there is a means of knowledge, they cannot work because I am the one who has to use the means of knowledge. So it presupposes my own existence before I can use any pramana. So Vedanta doesn't establish, or no scripture can tell you that you are existing and you are conscious, you are Sat and you are Chit. What Vedanta says is, it tells you, you are assuming that you are Sat as you are a BMI, but you are Sat as infinite Atma. And that is the teaching. It is essentially, it's called Aparoksha Anubhuti. So this whole thing is analysis, is to know myself as I am, not what I think I am. Because right now I am thinking I am this. So this is called Aparoksha Anubhuti. Anubhuti means explained as it is an experience of myself. So people misunderstand. So yes, I have studied Vedanta, now I want to experience, I have to sit in the meditation. This has become a bigger problem because Vedanta doesn't say that. You have to sit in the meditation to know I am. You have to sit in the meditation to analyze the Vedantic statement and realize what Vedanta says. And that's what has to be Anubhuti. So it's not an experience, because in every experience there is an experiencer, experience and experiencing. It's called Triputi or triad is there, and each limits the other. Experience is time bound, but this is what we are talking about beyond the time itself. Even the concept of time I know, because I have to be there to know what time it is. So time itself is, I am itself is transcending the time, because according to Einstein, time is the observation of two sequential observations. That means two observations in sequence. There has to be an observer who is not changing with the events. So therefore observation 1, observation 2, and the observer is different from the observations, and that he is an independent of the observations, and he has to say, yes, now one observation is over, second observation, and the gap between the two is essentially time. So therefore I am beyond the time, the conscious of the time itself, and that's what happens in the deep sleep state. I am is there, but no time, no concept, because there is no other two observations. There is a homogeneous one observation of the absence of everything. So therefore I am beyond the time itself, and therefore Aparoksha Anubhuti cannot be an experience type, because experience itself is time bound. So what exactly Aparoksha Anubhuti means? I have to experience myself. There is never a time I am not experiencing. I need a knowledge of what I am experiencing is what I have to know. By rejecting all objective things as anatma and shift my attention to that because of which anatma I am conscious of. So in the disbelief state, I know I am there, I don't need any means of knowledge, and therefore aparoksha anubhuti means it is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. The word is aparoksha. Pratyaksha means direct perceptual knowledge that I see. I see a chair here, I see, therefore everything that I see, hear, touch and all that through 5 senses. So within the limits of my sense perceptions, I can see. That's a direct and immediate. And the paroksha is far away, beyond my sense range. For that I need somebody else to tell me, or I have to go there, and that becomes a pratyaksha. So this is pratyaksha and paroksha, but it's neither of these two. So a word is coined as aparoksha. It is direct, immediate, at the same time it's beyond the sense information, because it is that because of which even the senses are able to function. So therefore there is nothing that is required to illumine that. So it need not be illumined, because I don't need a light or torchlight to see a sun. Hey, sun is there, let me bring a torchlight for me to see the sun. I don't need a torchlight, because sun is self-shining, and I had to open my eyes and look at it, and it is self-revealing. So I don't need a light to see a light, and this is itself is a light. In fact, this lights the whole light itself, as he is going to discuss more. So therefore this cannot be known, but it is the one that knows everything. In fact, this comes from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the Munikanda. The Yajnavalkya responds to Gargi. Gargi is also the great female sage in the Janaka's court, and she questions Yajnavalkya, what is Aksharam? Tell me what is Aksharam, or that which pervades the whole universe, and what is that? He is asking about what is this Atma. And Yajnavalkya says it cannot be defined, but it is that beyond which, and therefore he uses the same language in order to convey what exactly is the Atma. And those who want to know about this, we have taken this Munikanda of, this is in the 3rd chapter, we have taken the Munikanda in the camp and it's available in the YouTube. If you go to YouTube and ask for Acharya Sadaji, you will see Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. We have Madhukanda we have covered, and we have Maitreyi Brahmana covered, and also we have covered the Munikanda, the 3rd chapter. And we'll be going to do the Munikanda, the 4th chapter, in the next Memorial Day weekend. And in this 3rd chapter, Gargi is asking questioning Yajnavalkya, tell me what is Aksharam, or tell me what is beyond all this, but knows everything. And that's exactly same statement is essentially what the Upanishad is saying, that Vivekachudamani essentially is borrowing. It says, Tadva yeda aksharam gargi adrushtam drashtru asrutam sotru amatam mantru avijñatam vijñatru nanyadata asti dashtru nanyadata asti srotru nanyadata asti mantru nanyadata asti vijñatru etasmin khalu akshare gargi akasha atoscha protascheti. This is the 3rd chapter of the Brihadaranyaka. It's in the 8th adhyaya of that and 11th mantra. You can see this is what Yajnavalkya says. Asrutam srotuhu. That means it is, oh Gargi, this is what is Aksharam. It witnesses everything, but it cannot be seen. It sees everything, but it cannot be seen, because it cannot be an object, because it's a subject, and it cannot be an object of perception. It hears everything, but it cannot be heard, and it cannot be thought of, as it knows every thought, but no thought can know it. So that essentially it knows everything. Thinker is there, every thought in the rises in the mind it knows, in the brain it knows, but itself cannot be thought of, it cannot be conceptualized. This is Atma. You cannot say the one who is conceptualizing is Atma, not the one what is conceptualized. So therefore it is never known by any means of knowledge, but that which is the knower, that is the hearer, and that is the seer of everything, but it cannot be seen, heard, and so on and so forth. And there is no other witnessing to witness this. And that is what is immutable, O Gargi, is the unmanifested Aksharam. He calls it, there it's called, the Brahman is called, Atma is called Aksharam. Ksharam is that which is destructible. Aksharam is indestructible. That means it is eternally same. That is Trikala Abaditam Satyam. That which never undergoes any modifications is Satyam. So this is essentially statement by Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in response to the question raised by Gargi. And this is essentially says, Yaha pasyati swayam sarvam yena pasyati kinchana. That which sees everything but it cannot be seen. That which hears everything that it cannot be heard. That which tastes everything but it cannot be tasted. So all the five senses and buddhi, everything is works because of it, but it cannot itself be known through any senses. But in everything that is known is seen also. A simple example to see this is my light example that you're talking about. Says if I say I'm seeing a hand here, says what you're seeing is actually light, but you think you are seeing the hand because the light is falling on the hand, getting reflected and reaching your retina. It is light that you are reflected, light only you are seeing, not the hand. But hand is required to reflect the light. And I get carried away with looking at the hand and forget the light. So how am I going to know light? How am I going to see the light? It is that because of which I see everything, but that which cannot be seen but has to be inferred. It can only be seen via reflections. Because when it forms a thought, again consciousness has to illumine. Only reflected consciousness becomes a knowledge of the thought. So how am I going to know who is that Atma? I can never know. At the same time, I need not know. What I need to know is shift my attention from the hand to the light, and it's because of which everything is seen. At the same time, it cannot be seen. So same analogy works because this is also light, and this is called Jyotir Jyotihi and Swayam Jyotihi. It's the light of all lights, and because of this light only everything is lighted. And this is going to be further discussed by the Acharya in the Viveka Chudamani. So these are indicative definitions or a meditative where I have to think deeply and look at every object because it is revealed in every object also. And that has to be contemplated on by clear understanding of what exactly it is. We'll stop here and continue in the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.